CJ, having fun with the camera.
I am.
Alright, so this time we're going to introduce ourselves first, rather than start off randomly talking about horror games, and Assassin's Creed, and all those comments.
Hang on, let me tweet about this. Roger, tweeting.
Justin, go right ahead.
I'm Justin.
You're Justin.
Next.
My name is CJ, aka Wolfkill Shepherd.
Boom.
Part community manager of GDNA, and I play many video games.
Many video games.
Except for Mass Effect 3.
Except for Mass Effect 3, which I will go on about this entire podcast. My name is Shane Gray, SMG73 on Xbox Live. Been working with community here for the past couple weeks. And today we are talking about many different things like last week. We're going to be talking about the Borderlands iOS game, the Why Halo, as Hans had brought up, and Mass Effect 3, and Auto Dialogue, and G4, and a bunch of other stuff. So we're actually going to start off today talking about the new Macs and Apple's brilliance in how they're basically reinventing their own computers. So have you guys seen any of the new Macs or any of their hardware or any of that such?
Not the Mac computers, but I have unfortunately noticed the iPad minis going around lately.
Unfortunately? What's wrong with that?
I'm not a big Apple guy.
You have an iPhone, therefore you are an Apple guy.
Well, that's because I thought I was going to be a mobile gamer, but I was mistaken.
Of course, because we have our mobile gamer.
Speaking of mobile gamers, I finally got No Zombies Allowed working.
Oh,
I think
nice.
it was the beta of iOS 6 I didn't like.
Oh, yeah? So now you finally...
Back to killing zombies.
Nice.
Unfortunately, not during this podcast. I was going to be, but now my damn phone's being used as a camera.
That is true, because you couldn't use that other camera that you had in your bag when you showed me a month ago.
Oh, I should go. I might have that.
Go for it.
I'll be right
All
back.
right, pausing the podcast.
Boom, keep it going. You guys got plenty of good stuff to say.
All right, so...
iPad mini, why do you hate it?
Unfortunately, I'm a fanboy of Microsoft, so there's
they're
probably no real reason as to why, other than the fact that it's not a Microsoft. No, I don't know. I do development on iPads, and I do not like the process of it, and it's putting a bad taste in my mouth as far as iOS and Apple stuff goes.
Well, remember when you were designing an iOS app, you consistently were pissed off at your Apple, the Mac Pro that was under your desk.
Yeah.
That was something that kept pissing you off.
Well,
repeatedly.
that's not a rip on Apple. It's a rip on that one, outdated old Mac Mini that I had to use to develop apps on, the Crapple.
Yes. But specifically, I mean, let's talk about the hardware of the iPad Mini, or is that the official name of it? I'm not really sure.
I think it is, and I don't know the hardware, so
okay. Well,
if you know, please tell
me. I know some of it. I know that, I wrote it down here because I was all excited about it. It's a 7.9-inch display, has 4G LTE, goes up to 64 gigs, is a standard iPad, Sprint, Verizon, and AT&T, you're going to be able to carry it. It's going to have the A5 dual core, and it's not going to be in HD, which I find really interesting.
It's not going to be HD?
It's not going to be HD.
Is it?
It's 1024 by 680, I think.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, 480 is, it's not HD, it's 720 and higher.
It's still a Retina display, though, right?
No, it's the standard iPad display that they just scaled down.
Really?
That confused me. I read that today as I was on their website. And it was just
so the screen it's the same hardware as the iPad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Smaller.
But that's what they did. The iPad Mini.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not doing the full HD screen. It's just standard definition.
All right. That brings me to want to ask how much it costs.
I believe they start at $329.
$329.
They're $130 cheaper than their standard iPad, which was really cool to see. Because Apple is someone who does not care if you have an upgrade in a week. They'll say you have to come back in a week because we want your money. So, there's two sides to, there's 90 sides to every story. So, personally, I'm really psyched that they have the iPad Mini because, I said this last week, I bounce around with my hands, and I have big hands, and working to the center of the display is always really hard to do. But when they have a 7.9-inch screen, it's perfect. It's exactly what I want. Now,
is what you want as a mobile gamer?
As someone who watches movies, if I go on iTunes and I download something with Netflix, it's fun. Because if I'm sitting somewhere, I have this pad in front of me, it's please, everyone else, look at the screen, because it's gigantic and overly everything. I don't know. I just personally not a mobile gamer. I don't go out and buy every single game. We have our mobile gamer here. If you would like to chime in about the iPad Mini, that should be something you are at least aware of.
I am aware of it. So I'm a mobile casual gamer. So the likelihood of me buying a console, buying any device to play games, is slim to none. The fact that I can also make calls with my current gaming device is advantageous because it gives me another excuse to carry it around. And yeah, so iPad Mini, I wouldn't say I'm overly excited about it. I like the bigger form factor. I don't think the smaller form factor gets you much. It's still too big to put in your pocket. Things are just smaller.
Relative to your pocket size.
Relative to your pocket size. Good point. I wear...
You're not a G, is what you're saying.
I don't think I'm a G. I like to think of myself as an A+.
Oh.
So...
Well, I mean, because I brought up the iPad Mini really because that's the thing that Apple is trying to rock the market right now. Surprisingly, Amazon's Kindle thing, they cut that out and like relaunched their HD Kindle, and that thing has kicked ass on their sales margins. It's been brilliant.
You can't argue with the data ultimately, but from my perspective, if you can't put it in your pocket, you might as well have something that's big enough to carry in a
bag.
Satchel, in a man purse or whatever, you know.
Satchel.
Because then you can see what you're looking at as well.
Yeah, of course.
Jeffrey, what do you think about the iPad Mini?
I think they did exactly what they needed to do.
Which is what?
Expand.
Take advantage of their brand, make some good money on a product that comes into a lower price point.
So you think it's about
There's a lot of people that identify
That's
with,
interesting.
I'm carrying this Apple and I'm better because I have it.
That's a good point. And it is a lower price point. It's a good point.
Yeah, but it's not so low that it compromises their brand.
Right.
And granted, this is coming from someone that doesn't like these things.
Right.
But
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Hard to argue
I think
with
it's
that.
very congruent with their efforts.
Yeah. Plus, it further. Well, I guess it doesn't. Theoretically, it doesn't further splinter their resolutions for development.
Not even remotely, actually.
Well, the prices are from Wi-Fi only is $329, $429, $529, and their 4G versions are $459, $559, and $659.
And what are the memory capacities of those?
16, 32, and 64.
Okay.
So it's just the standard Apple, throwing gigs at you, and you'll probably buy the biggest one because that's what I did. They're the new iPad, because they had the iPad 2, and then they launched the new iPad, and then they launched the new iPad.
The really new iPad.
The really new iPad. That's probably the really new iPad. It has a Retina display officially now. It does have 1080i on it. It has an A6 chip, which is their dual core with 4 quad-core graphics, which is a really big deal for a lot of mobile gamers. Specifically, we talked last week about Infinity Blade and how if you play the game on your iPhone 4S and you literally lose a percentage charge for every single, for every, I think it was every 10 minutes you lose 1%, which is crazy. So the next thing on the Apple list is their Mac Mini, which I'm not going to go over on for that much time because it is incredibly underwhelming. It's saddened me. Yeah, they have quad core, but now they took the graphics card out. AMD isn't a part of it. I'm more of the hardware focusing guy. I have a Airbook back at home, and it's great. Woohoo! Intel 4000 is their GPU, but I'm not gonna play a game on it. It's just for internet. Their iMac is actually a really big jump. I'm very, very proud of Apple.
Nice.
We had a conversation, CJ, about how they had mobile GPUs in their iMacs, and that pissed me on beyond belief. But they actually now have the 680 MX, which is their 680, but more power consumption or less power consumption. So I mean that's something that we touched on before with Alienware and Apple and how they're trying to conform to the same platform. I mean, do you have any opinions on the fact that they actually have a good GPU now? They're kind of on the right track. Have you looked at any of the stuff I'm talking about?
Until I can play games on a Mac, I don't care. That's what it comes down to. Like, I might like iMacs, but right now I can't play Mass Effect on my iMac. I can't.
Unless you install Windows.
I mean, I have to turn it into Windows to play it, and even then I'm losing performance if I use something like Boot Camp. So I'm just gonna, not pay $1,000 for the Apple symbol, and I'm just gonna go build a new, gaming PC.
Ever heard of stickers?
If I ever feel like I need a new computer.
Stickers are important. They are valuable.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only thing Apple has really changed with the iMac. Well, other than the fact that it went from this big to this big. I mean, like, go Apple in that sense. They shortened. I mean, if you guys have seen the pictures of these things, they're like pencil thinness.
Yeah.
Crazy. Otherwise, I mean, they haven't really updated their Mac Pros. We had a conversation about this and how they are just terrible in that front because they haven't upgraded that and nobody cares. So it's giving past Apple because now I have a lot of negative things to say about them. Specifically going to, have you guys seen any of the Battle Royale PlayStation 3, excuse me, kind of Super Smash Brothers?
I have, and as a big, like, Sony-specific,
I like the idea of having, like, all those, you know, random characters thrown into another fighting game that's, like, specific to the franchises of Sony.
Well, I mean, if you watch one of the trailers, the first, like, 3 trailers they had were maybe 17 seconds long with some lady typing in, you know, there's just an arbitrary language that nobody knows, and it was very interesting. There was a janitor cleaning up, and he picked up a sword. I mean, there's just, like, you find all these tiny little things. You're like, is this the PlayStation 4? No, it's just the game they're stealing from Nintendo. But still, it was very interesting to watch. I mean, Nathan Drake pulling up in the truck and was like, I know exactly who that is, and it's just a shadow.
Yeah.
You know, there's that knowing each character as they're jumping in. And, you know, it is kind of odd seeing Nathan Drake fight a BioShock guy, you know, the Big Daddy. That's just...
Yeah, but it's like the same thing in Super Smash Bros. When, like, you compare, like, Samus against Fox. And, like,
that's a good point.
Nintendo characters are so vast, but it's still fun.
Yeah. It is pretty interesting because I was looking at basically Fox versus Samus right now.
Fox wins.
And then going to the point where you have Samus versus New Fox, you know, in the Melee, or isn't that the most recent Nintendo Smash Brothers?
No, Brawl.
Brawl is, that's right. Smash Brothers Brawl, and it's just really interesting to see Fox with his, you know, headset and his pistol, laser gun, or whatever, and versus Samus. It's very vast changes. But back to Battle Royale, it's going to be really interesting to see how they pull that whole realm off, because Nintendo has set a standard in that one specific realm, and if Microsoft does that, Gears of War, Marcus Phoenix versus John Master Chief, like, I can't see that actually happening.
Yeah, and I think that Super Smash Bros. Is a very, like, it's a very unique game in the sense that, like, how each game is basically like a just giant, like, King of the Hill match. Like, that's all Super Smash Bros. Is. And I'm not quite sure how the Battle Royale game is gonna, like, the game mechanics are gonna play out, but I'm assuming that it's the same scenario, like King of the Hill. You only win by, like, ring outs. Okay, so I guess I mean, you can only really hope that they're not gonna copy too much of, like, the Super Smash Bros.-esque gameplay, and hopefully implement some, like, new fun features that Nintendo hasn't played around with yet.
Yeah. Battle Royale we haven't seen that much of, but it'll be very interesting to see how many other characters. BioShock is by no means a Sony exclusive, you know, and they threw Big Daddy in there, and that was very interesting, which means that
Sonic the Hedgehog is in Brawl, and so is Snake, and that's true.
That's a Sony character,
Konami
really.
And Sega, yeah.
It's really interesting. I wonder if there will be some other characters that are kind of go cross-console, because that would be pretty interesting. I mean, Resident Evil was exclusive to Nintendo, and then they completely washed that when they sold it to Microsoft, and now you can buy Resident Evil 4 on Microsoft, on their Xbox Arcade. But kind of going to glance over the Halo 4 console. It's just really funny because you pay $400 for an HD console. It's supposed to blow people out of the water, and they still give you an AV cable. I mean, that's really sad. I just wanted to at least touch on that, but
it came with an AV cable and not like
no HDMI, no composite, just
red,
white.
Come with it.
Yeah, red, white, and
it came
yellow.
with composite, not component. Oh wow.
I mean,
that's just sad. On
that
Microsoft. They gave you that before. They gave it to you before.
True.
This is 2012, guys.
It's lame that they don't deliver it, but you gotta deliver for the lowest common denominator too. You need both.
Well, lowest common denominator. I mean, like I bought a TV maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it didn't even have composite. Component's the lower one, right?
No,
composite. Yeah, composite.
Yeah.
So composite. It didn't even have a composite one on it. The lowest actual, like, it honestly, it had S-Video, which was very surprising to me.
Yeah.
But it didn't have you know, the red, white, and yellow.
Yeah.
Just odd to me.
It's outdated tech. It's getting old.
Well, I mean, it's getting to that point where it's like, let's go to a Best Buy and point out which TVs have them and which don't, because it's getting more to the point where more of them don't have than do. But
If you bought a new TV in the last 5 years. Yeah.
In the last 5 years. But there are people across America who do not have new TVs.
It's true.
I don't expect you guys to know what the Ouya
Yeah.
is. You guys know what that is?
I do not know what that is.
It's the console that plays Android games.
Yes.
Huh.
Pretty much.
Specifically, it has a Turga 3 chip in it, which is a quad-core NVIDIA GPU. But this thing they've been really trying to push into tablets and phones.
That's the same thing that the Nexus 7 has, right?
Exactly.
GPU.
Yeah, it's a tablet-powered GPU, but they took it and they put it in this console. It's $99 for the full hardware. They originally launched their the website to have people donate to them, and
it's on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
they reached their actual amount they wanted within 12 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that blows me away. I mean, but that's really cool. They said, it's open console. You can mod anything you want. You can go, and create your own games and put them on there. And that's really how the industry has shifted. Everybody mods everything. Now, obviously, to the next subject. Looking towards Blu-ray discs in consoles.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard anything about locking discs to the console?
No, I have not.
That sounds horrible.
It sounds like
PlayStation
DRM Doom.
PlayStation 4 has decided that, Sony has decided for the PlayStation 4, they're releasing very specific snippets of information, but they've been alluding to saying, guess what, you have this Blu-ray disc, so let's say it's, Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 4. Is there going to be an
I
Uncharted 4?
already know where you're going to go with this, and I don't like it.
And now it's going to go to your PlayStation 4, you're going to link that to your actual console, and you can throw that game in the trash.
That's awful.
It's locked to you. And that goes for renting games. That goes for. I mean, how are they even going to do that? How are you going to be able to rent a game from Blockbuster if they're alive?
You
then?
won't.
No, but that's
You'll have to
the
go.
point.
You'll have to go to OnLive or Gaikai.
I mean, you already know that they're taking a step in that direction because,
Gamefly.
if we look at the last generation of games, with the Xbox and PlayStation 3, we have all these, they have those codes that they put in the games, like, for instance, with Battlefield 3, they have all these maps that are going to come out, and as long as you buy a fresh copy and you have that code, then you get all these maps for free. And those really don't even, I don't even consider them like DLC because they're just standard basic maps that they rarely change. They're not even unique. But in order to play those additional maps, you have to import or input that code first on Xbox Live or on PSN, and they keep people from reselling the games because they ruin the value of it.
Yeah.
Of resale once they.
The point of buying that second map is so that you can. But that's what Sony has been alluding to. I'm not saying that's their official statement, but that is what IGN said this, G4 has said this, a bunch of other companies have come out and say this is what we're all on track for. And I don't think Xbox is going to do that. I hope they don't do that. Because the thing with Xbox that they're really trying to push right now is the whole fact that you can do cloud gaming, which is have your game on an internet site, a server somewhere across America, and still play it fully rendered. Because you were running out of room on your iPhone.
Yeah.
As I was
No
saying,
more video.
No more video.
We have
We have
video
that
there.
video right there, directly to your left.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. But no. No, Xbox has been very specific. They said it's going to be 6 times more faster. They're going to go with AMD, and then NVIDIA's trying to, score them back over. But Xbox has been more towards cloud gaming. They're saying you're going to be able to play your games across, it's at a server. You're going to be able to stream Halo 4. Actually, not for the 720, since it's apparently not going to be backwards compatible, which will be also very, very interesting.
It's not going to be backwards compatible.
That's what Microsoft came out and said. We're planning on it not being backwards compatible.
That's because it can still make money.
That's because that's true. Everyone's going to be buying up
Milking
360s. Well, I mean, you got to think it's a business. Oh God. But I mean, that's something that everyone really needs to kind of watch out for, because I love my Xbox. I love Halo 4, and I haven't even played it yet. And I want to be able to play that on my next console. I mean, I was thinking today, as I was kind of walked by Justin's desk, I saw Halo 2 sitting over there. I'm like, how can I get my hands on that and play it this weekend? Because that is definitely going to be my mission for today.
You can take it home. That's how you can get your hands on it.
Perfect. Done. And that thought process of Halo and Halo 2 were the two games that were playable from Xbox to Xbox 360. Because all of them weren't. And I remember when, the Xbox 360
But now with
came out.
most of them, can't you just download an update when you put the game in and it works?
Most of them, yeah. But I mean, for the games that didn't really matter, like for example, Star Wars Republic Commando. Have you guys played that?
That was an amazing game.
That's by far my #1 game in my lifetime. By far.
It was really well done.
It was brilliantly done. Excellent writing, excellent voice acting.
Nice putting like a Star Wars game in like a brutal environment. I was getting bored of like all the kid Star Wars games.
And, you know, bad guys shooting you and just like dancing around as they miss you continuously.
Yeah, getting the gore on your screen.
That's
and
right.
having that laser that goes by and cleans it off.
Yep, it's pretty epic.
That's cool.
It's definitely fun. I have it on my PC and on CD for my PC because I downloaded it on Steam and also have the CD, and also have it on my Xbox. But that game originally set the precedent for nobody could play that game on the 360. Everyone complained to Xbox, and they're like, "Fine, we'll come out with a a patch for it," and they did. And that's they started going backwards compatible with every single other. Every other game, but that's something that they're really going to scare a lot of gamers with if they just say you can't play Halo on
So
your console.
So is the real reason they're not doing it because of the amount of work it takes? Is it difficult to make the console backwards compatible?
It's hard to say.
Depends
that.
how they architect the new one. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's all really contingent because originally the first like wave of rumors for the 360 is it wasn't going to have a disk drive, which I think is bullshit. They're not. They have to have a disk drive. There are people who don't have the internet.
There's going to be Blu-ray.
Yeah, there has to be Blu-ray. It's a given. It's something that PlayStation was slapping them, the first year that it came out. So from there, it goes down to okay, well, if they do have a disc drive, it has to be Blu-ray. Done. Okay, if it doesn't have if it does have a disc drive, how can we implement cloud? And that's where I think they are right now. Personally, I've tried on live. It's been fun. I haven't really had that much a blast with it because I like being able to put all my settings to the maximum and drive my computer into like volcanic temperatures. But that's because I'm a specific hardcore gamer. Hardcore more towards the hardware. But it goes full circle.
I've played on live here, and as you guys know, our internet connection is far from ideal, but it's been disappointing at best for me.
But on live, they have a lot of things going for them. If they have a console they'll release rather than that little disc, it'll end up turning okay. Have you guys seen the BioShock trailer?
BioShock Infinite? I have been seeing that trailer every day since they announced that game.
Yes, that trailer blew my mind in a lot of ways. I was very, very surprised.
I love how they start with that little teaser like in the fish tank, and you think you're like, oh yes, I know it's another BioShock game. Then the guy's face gets pulled out of it, and like you see like the like old antique like building, and you get thrown out the window, and everything is like early 1900s like in the sky, as opposed to like being in the 50s and 60s underwater.
The reason I ask is because there was actually one that was released like 3 days ago.
Really?
Yes.
I have not seen that one.
I'm pulling it up right now because this.
Am I going to be blown away?
You should be. I specifically studied as a minor when I went to college was how can I film with something I was really passionate about, and the cinematography through this entire thing was mind blowing.
So you want to pull it up on the big screen?
Yeah, it's actually my board. Bring it up on there.
Yeah. Will you change the input there, please?
But Fox.
Siege.
No, Fox. I love you.
Fox always wins.
Fox A.
I will battle you. But no, while we're talking about it, not wasting time, this trailer like brings you in the first moment. I'll at least spoil and saying that you're on a boat, like in the ocean. It's raining. It's there's like a lantern on the front. Some lady's paddling for you, and you open this box and you pull out a pistol and some other trinkets at the bottom of the box, and just the whole time I'm like, this is like a movie. They've figured it out. BioShock 1, outstanding. I mean, jumping out of the, being in the water, swimming up, seeing the fire on the water, still one of the most brilliant, graphical games I've seen in a long time. BioShock 2 was not as epic, but glancing over BioShock 2, this trailer, which I am now very, 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 very excited to watch.
Is that it?
Yes. Oh, sound. Oh. Definitely sound.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. That was the deal. The details elude me now. But the details wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
same day Steam announced this, I got an email from them. I was really psyched. Originally, well, I mean, watching this whole video blew my mind. You know, they're showing you the Ultimate Edition and so on. You get the soundtrack and, you know, book and little, what's it called, Skyrim dragon thing. But I mean, from the first moment of you opening that box, there's just a cinematic to it where you're just like, this. There's so much more story through this whole thing. You know, the girl, there was controversy through it. You know, she throws you the shotgun. You catch it. You go blow someone up. That you send crows. The flesh of your hands is melted. Like that trailer shows people how far the gaming industry has come. I'm glad you haven't seen that though, because then that's
that was awesome, and it really. I think that something that what's his name, Kevin Levine, does a really good job of in his games is just telling an incredible story. And I think that BioShock not only delivers on the graphical front, but also, you know, through their writing, their voice acting, just the like the deepness just of like the emotion that goes in with all these characters and stuff. It's incredible, and that just like really shows not only the ridiculous technology that goes behind it, but also the amazing writing and just like emotion that goes into game development. And that's how you make a good game.
Yeah, story is something that I think we've agreed on a lot of fronts is vital to a lot of games now. I'll give you a perfect example of a game that took away the story and crashed into the ground, and that was Lost Planet 2. I
played a demo of Lost Planet 1. That's about as far as my Lost Planet experience goes.
Play Lost Planet. It's epic. It's like the game puts you on a timer. It's just play it. Like, I can't say anything else because that's when I don't want to spoil for you. That's a story that you have to play through. It's very Japanese. Like if part of your face is exposed to the temperature, you'll die. But the girl's chest is totally open, and it's like, how is there? There's a missing element that I'm missing. Okay, fine. We'll glance over that. But it's very interesting to play through that game. But this trailer, I mean, it was all gameplay, all of that. You know, there was a moment. The first moment I think was really gory was when that the claw thing was started rotating, went into the guy's face. Like,
yeah, I had no idea.
Gosh.
That's the first time I've seen it used as a weapon in the video. Is that a new feature that they're working on? Because they didn't even talk about it like that with the 30-minute trailer that I watched.
It's been really interesting watching the developments. I mean, the Beast, the song, Nico Veda, I think, is the one who plays that. But I mean, just the song to it, the America through the America through the American flag in the background. I mean, it's been brilliantly done through this entire time.
And it's a really cool, a cool time period to like take BioShock into because, like, that's the early 1900s is when America starts to really find itself, and Manifest Destiny is going on, and all these like crazy inventions are coming on. I think that really is akin to the BioShock universe, just trying to be an entrepreneur and like inventing all these unique technologies to try to make life easier, and then how it negatively affects society.
Your take, Justin, please.
That's interesting. It's getting a little political for my
All right, let's talk about more games.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I have a list of games right here that I've started and I just haven't finished. I mean, Max Payne 3, probably played 20 minutes of the first, and then someone called me. I went downstairs and just haven't played it, and that was like 2 months ago. And then there's I call it Deus Ex. Deus Ex, Duke Nukem, Fable 3, L.A. Noire, Spec Ops, Rage, Red Faction, Red Orchestra 2.
I have something to say about all of those.
Okay, go for it. Please take the floor.
Well, what's the point here? What do we?
I'm going over just a bunch of games because originally a couple articles have been released about what actually gets people to play a game. And I mean, we can go to Gears of War, Halo, Metal Gear Solid, Mario games. I mean, there are also all those really big, powerful characters that drive certain companies like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. And these are just a group of games that I've really written down that I've played, and just they haven't caught my interest to finish.
Did I hear Red Faction on that?
Yes. Red Faction, not the most recent one, the one before it. Guerrilla.
Guerrilla?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love that game.
I did too, but I just never had that forward because there were no cinematics. There was nothing to like drive me.
The story was terrible. The voice acting was terrible. The game didn't look that great. But GeoMod 2.0, this destruction engine that they have in there is amazing. Like, you can literally break apart any building brick by brick. these 2 hostages out of this building that the EDF were holding them in.
Mm-hmm.
I got this giant ass truck and I strapped on a crap load of det packs or
Of
whatever,
course, it's
the
concept.
explosives. And I'm just like rocking it down the streets, and all these EDF are chasing me in their cars and spinning out and exploding. And I like right before I'm crashing this like truck into this building, I jump out and then I watch the truck go and it makes it like halfway into the building, and I like blow it up, and then like half the building collapses, and then like it like just misses the room where the hostages are in. So I go like smash like a couple soldiers with the sledgehammer, and I pull them out and drive away. But it's just like the entire time you're playing that game, all you're doing is like improvising, like using the destruction physics that they have, and it's just like ridiculous the amount of like sandboxy stuff you can do in it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, integration with gamers is something that a lot of people have been missing on, and I feel like Halo is 80% of the fan base is now based on multiplayer. Call of Duty. I maybe know one other person in my lifetime who plays the game for the story, because I mean it hasn't been that awesome. But that goes back to the conversation before where you were saying playing Black Ops was way better than playing the Modern Warfare series, because they actually involve the gamer and say, hey, remember this? Hey, remember this?
I don't think that Infinity Ward did a bad job at making the story for Modern Warfare, but I enjoyed the Black Ops story a lot more. It was a lot more gritty and a lot more emotional, and I think that Modern Warfare 3 to me just got like way blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't epic.
I will be very disappointed. Have you been seeing how many Halo 4 ads there have been everywhere?
Oh yeah.
Ancient Evil Awakens. I mean, I was watching.
I have an Xbox. I see at least like 3 Halo 4
I
ads every day.
haven't. I turn on my Xbox maybe once every couple weeks, because I haven't had a TV to like hook it up with. I'll get like my monitor and like pull that out of the closet and play something. Like Resident Evil 6 is what I've really been playing on it. But I don't know if that ends up sucking. I'll just kind of die a little bit inside.
Halo 4?
Yeah.
I don't think it will end up sucking, because I mean we have a lot of strong developers from Bungie who are working with 343 right now, and while I would have liked the Master Chief series to end with Halo 3, I think that it's in good hands right now.
Well, Borderlands for iOS. That is a very interesting subject. They're not going to make it a first-person shooter. They're not dragging it over.
Wait, it's not first person?
They're not dragging and dropping the game.
That's what I thought. What are they doing now?
They're now doing a real-time strategy where you have the same original 4 characters: Roland, Brick, Lilith, and Mordecai. And you have them all on the center of the screen, and you can tap each individual one as the game goes more to the right. It's straight over. It's not
There we go. This makes sense. So
Yeah.
actually building the game for the devices on
Exactly.
It.
They basically wiped the board, because originally they were going to drag and drop Borderlands.
I bet
1
they just use. I bet they're using a lot of the assets. From
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first game.
They're doing it where if you're going through the game, you don't like collect loot from specific players, but you get money for killing individual players or enemies through the game, and then at the end they'll just like randomly throw in a bunch of guns that you can buy and sell.
So is it like a top-down, like almost like Baldur's Gate style, like dungeon crawler?
Yeah.
Okay. That could be good, because I really enjoy those. It's probably one of the very few like mobile-esque type games I like. Just the over-the-head like dungeon crawler kind of like loot gathering games.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting how they kind of throw the whole original players in. First story, it's supposed to happen between Borderlands 1 and 2, but there's no story by any means, as I've been looking at through a bunch of the different developers. They've openly said we're not going to throw a story into it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
And I don't think anyone plays Borderlands for the story anyway. Like, remember the ending of the first one?
it's just a giant explosion with a giant monster. It's
Empty vault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
And then
that big.
I haven't played the second one, but I bet that the reason people are still playing it is because of all the like ridiculous amounts of guns.
What was Nvidia's was it 87 bazillion guns or something? Because it's just the game actually has an engine that manufactures guns randomly.
Yeah, it programmatically makes random guns.
Yeah.
That's cool.
With like different crazy effects and stuff.
Yeah. One other thing for mobile is, have either of you played GTA Vice City, PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
A while ago. It's been a while, yeah.
Was Vice City the one with the main character named CJ, the black guy?
I don't know. No, that was the.
That was San
one.
Andreas.
San Andreas, yes.
Yeah, I did play Vice City. Yeah.
San Andreas, I think, is on the iOS right now, but Vice City they're now going to bring to the iOS system. Within the next month, I think they're actually going to release it.
And it's going to be a port.
Yes. going to be a drag and drop straight over full game.
Well, it's third person, so it's going to be a little bit easier, but
yeah,
I'm a little bit iffy on the whole port thing when it comes to mobile games.
I haven't really had that much fun playing those games. If I could play Halo on my phone, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I'm an extreme Halo fanboy.
I would like to play a Halo mobile game.
Oh,
maybe
it'd be fun.
like a Halo RTS.
And remember the one we were talking about before, where it's like, after Halo 1 and in between Halo 1 and Halo 2, there was just that side scroller that was really funny, and like beating up an elite and not really knowing all the controls, but still having fun with it. It was a blast. Have you guys paid any attention to Razer at all and their new developments or their?
The last thing I've been paying attention to is just the blade stuff, the Switchblade, that guy. That's about it. LCD keyboards.
Yeah, their new endeavor is their Razer tablet. I believe the Switchblade was obviously their much smaller version of this.
Is that the Fiona?
Yes,
okay.
Project Fiona.
Yeah.
They basically went on Facebook and said, we have this tablet. We showed it to you for the past 2 years at E3. What GPU do you want? What CPU do you want? How much memory do you want? How much how big of a hard drive? And they ask like all of these questions, and it's really crazy to listen to all the people's responses, because there's people who are like, put a 690 GTX desktop. It's like we can't do that. And
someone's like, no, because it'll drain all the battery,
or it'll catch on fire because it's a very hot hard GPU. So there are multiple reasons not to do that. But no, the consensus originally was that, like, because they really brought out that concept when the GTX 500s were out. And originally they were like, okay, well, if we have the 555 in the Blade, then we need to have something smaller for the Fiona, so like a 540. And personally, I wouldn't buy it if it had a 540, because I'm not going to be playing here and just like, that's a specific scenario. That's basically the Wii U. I'm going to bring that into this conversation, because it's a Wii U, but like it's Razer's version for a PC.
Yeah. I'm excited about the Wii U.
Please, let's explore the Wii U again. You're vastly excited about the playing your games in HD.
Oh, well, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care how great the hardware is, as long as I can play new Zelda games, or as long as that means more additions to my favorite series. I don't care.
So you care about it vastly, and I could not care. I could not care less than I am right now. So yeah. Mass Effect 3.
Oh no.
Mass Effect 3. I'm going to be very careful, because our own CJ has not finished Mass Effect 3 that came out.
Keep in mind, I have 2 copies of this game. One of them is the most expensive edition that you can buy, and then I got it on launch day as well.
So you're a fan.
I'm a big fan.
But apparently not a big enough fan to finish the game.
Oh, hey-o.
And largely that has to deal with things external, like work.
Excuses.
Yeah, that's right. Stay up all night.
Another big thing is that like I have this weird it's like a commitment to my characters, and like a commitment to the story. And an example of this, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I'm sure everyone's beat it now besides me.
Everyone
anyway.
has, yes. Everyone.
So Jack, she's one of the characters that you encounter in the game.
Spoiler alert.
If you there comes a point when you have to go to Grissom Academy and go save him, right? Well, I was like, that's a side quest, I'll do that later. So then I'm like, I finished this like planet, like I finished Tachanka or something, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go back and do that. But I couldn't find my quest log, and I was a little bit concerned, because like, what happened? Where did it go? And then like, once I knew that I couldn't like replay it, I knew that something bad was gonna happen. Eventually I learned that they captured Jack, and then they use Reaper technology to turn her into like one of the crazy Spectre like ninja assassin people, and you have to kill her.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
I haven't played that point, because I actually played the game all the way through without caring about
character on many occasions I like make new characters if I do something wrong and start from scratch and try to do it
right. Right. I think of 2 games when I think about, Fallout 3. That was a very specific game. This is relative to Mass Effect. I remember getting the special edition of Fallout 3. You're getting a little lunchbox. It was like really cool. The game was inside. I was all excited, and I played it. And the whole the first hour you spent in the vault, and it's basically you're walking around, you're learning how to play the game. And I'm like, I don't want to kill a bunch of giant roaches. This is stupid. And threw my controller down, walked out.
This is bullshit.
I was pissed off, and I basically returned it, and never played it for another 2 years. And then, yeah, it was a serious deal for me. I was pissed
the only
off.
thing I played it just because I heard Liam Neeson's voice.
I actually, honestly, I just realized it was Liam Neeson 2 hours ago.
That's really
I'm not
funny.
kidding. I'm a fan of Liam.
That was enough to get me through the lame intro.
Yeah, it was crazy to think about that. But then 2 years later, I picked it up again. I'm like, I might as well give it another chance. And it was the best game ever. It was outstanding. You go this huge world after walking like 20 more feet to get outside. Mm-hmm. I have now realizing that I have issues with waiting that extra minute and a half to get to the point where it's epic.
Yeah.
But I keep convincing myself it's a minute from now.
I think gamers are getting impatient these days. Like,
I'm the perfect example of that.
Casual gamers and like people who pick up games and play them, people who just play for multiplayer. Like, there are people who freak out at like watching that timer count down to the match, and they're just like antsy waiting to play. But I don't think I think that patience is a virtue, and it's something that a lot of gamers don't have anymore, and that's why.
A lot of people don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and that's why like a lot of these like newer big blockbuster games don't care about like the story so much anymore. It's becoming too like I'll play a game just to like look at the environment and like walk through, and like there's this game called Star Citizen that's coming out. They something like ridiculous, like the inside of their interior ships have like 100,000 polygons or something. So like you're sitting in this cockpit, and I swear I would pay $100 for that game just to sit around like the cockpit and push buttons and just like do cool stuff.
Well, I mean, gamers are getting a lot less patient in a lot of ways, and that's something that kind of transitions to what I was saying. In fact, that I'm a perfect example of that was, Mass Effect 3. I could not wait for that game to come out, like to the point where I drove 3 hours to Las Vegas and. As I told you, sat in my truck and went out and like tracked the GPS as like the space thing was supposed to land somewhere. It's like that is the point I have been driven to.
If I wasn't stuck down here in Sandland at that point, I would have loved it. I remember I was like watching the like GPS for just like hours on end, like looking at blogs and seeing if anyone found it yet or anything. But that brings up another interesting thought, that like how game companies are starting to go out of their way for all these like awesome promotional events. I mean, like Mass Effect space game. Let's throw these games in space and make them fall down. And you can.
Well, they went through university and said, "This is a now science project. Here you go."
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of another example of a game company who's done something like that.
Well, I mean, advertising is something that everyone does. It's
right, but like,
but going out of the way.
You can advertise, and you can advertise cool.
Yeah.
Like this.
BioWare has done an awesome example.
Yeah, that advertisement makes me go drive out miles and go hunt for something that'll be really amazing if I can get it. Like, the ads get to the point where they're just showing flashy computer like CGI commercials that don't look anything like the game and have nothing to do with the gameplay.
Yep. Like, I don't know, World of Warcraft.
It's like when I look at Mists of Pandaria, like it was kind of cool. Like
the reason I bought World of Warcraft is because I, honest to God, looked at it and I'm like, well, there cannot be that big of a leap between Lynch King's like actual cinematic and the game. Once I saw that, I was like, there has to be something wrong.
So
this can't be the highest.
You started WoW
after Lynch King, yeah, like Lynch King, yes.
Lynch King. I started WoW when it first came out. I was one of the first people logging into the servers. I played on the first day until everything crashed. But what really got me excited about that game, I was young, so I'm easily excited by stupid CGI trailers. But that the trailer with the guy throwing fireballs in the mountain, and then there's the undead guy walking, and all the grass is burning away at his feet, and just super cinematic, just an amazing Raven.
Crusade of War. What was the name of the first one? It's like it's not just
Reign of Chaos.
Reign of Chaos, and then there was the one after that was like the Crusades or something. I remember. I wrote this down somewhere in this book.
Burning Crusade?
Burning Crusade.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the Warcraft 3 games, which I'll happily talk about because they're so much better than World of Warcraft.
I played some of Warcraft 3 and it was fun, and I just kind of like got really bored of it because for example, I played StarCraft 2 all the way through, and that blew my mind. So I'm like, well, StarCraft 1 has to be epic, and it was just like 8-bit controlling.
That's because you didn't play them when they first came out.
That's awesome. What I'm saying. Like going backtracking, like I played through Halo. If you going back and playing through Halo, oh my gosh, so much fun. But like, if I hadn't played it, I'd be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's a.
And I think
Red Alert 3, perfect example. Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2, yes, because Red Alert 1 sucked because I didn't play it. Perfect example.
And yeah, like I still play Zork sometimes, like text-based adventure games. I remember what got me back into Zork. I used to play it, at school, and you do text-based adventure games on the computer because they're small and you can put them on a flash drive. But when Black Ops came out and they had that computer, and I found out that you could play Zork on that thing, I probably spent more time in Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 1 playing Zork on that little computer within the game than I played the campaign or multiplayer combined.
Yeah. That's funny. I remember breaking out of the chair for the first time, walking over to it, being like, "What is this? This is insane." I went online, found a bunch of cheat codes. I'm like, "No, I must earn these maps. I must earn this." I played all the way through, and then played, the zombie thing. And I played with my buddies on that. It was fun. It was epic. But, this all spawned from the tablet conversation. Originally back to Razer. But, no, I mean, it's Mass Effect 3. Let's bring it back to that point, because that was something I did want to finish on. When you were saying they basically took Jack out of the equation for you, in the sense that was a side quest, did you think that was a side quest, or do you think that was part of the main missions of the game?
Well, I thought it was like, it was a really important side quest.
Important side quest.
Yeah.
Like loyalty in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. And I was like, I can do that later, because it's always going to be there. No. And Deus Ex did the exact same thing, because I remember when I was playing Deus Ex, I was so enthralled by the world, and it was awesome, I was playing it on 3D, on my 3D TV. And
3D.
That's the game I played it online that was disappointing.
Oh, that's too bad. Was the game disappointing? It was on
the game was fine, but it felt like I was playing a video that hadn't buffered all the way. I mean, it wasn't.
Got it.
Yeah, like,
I think it's probably internet access here. I'm sure online's great, but it was.
Well, I was fortunate to have a very, very good gaming PC. I bought Deus Ex for PC, and I HDMI'd my computer to my 3D TV, and I got NVIDIA TV 3D Play, got the 3D glasses, and I was just like so enthralled by the game. Like, I love just like running around, and like they put so much character in like every individual room, and like this cool little like news articles that you could read that would talk about like the history and like the current stuff going on in the world. But I was so enthralled by the world that there came to a point when they first like let you loose to go do stuff, some guys like this stuff is going on, you need to go to this helicopter and go fly and go take care of these terrorists. Well, and they had hostages, and while I was looking around, I get this like angry call from this character in this game that kind of reminds me of my boss. And he's like, "Shit's going down, you gotta get up here now." So I go up there, and he's like, "You're wasting time, you asshole, and these hostages died, so now you gotta go through the mission again."
Game just bitch slaps you through. It's like, come on, play the game.
It's like, stop enjoying the game.
We'll find our holes.
Shit together here.
But no, I mean, what you just said. I mean, the game developers are not as stupid as everyone thinks they are. I mean, who produced?
I don't think you're stupid.
Who produced the game?
It was Final Fantasy.
Not a fan of Final Fantasy. I have no idea.
Makers of
Google.
Roger, Google.
I don't want you to tell me because it's on the tip of my tongue. Square Enix. There you
Square
go.
Enix.
Square Enix.
Okay, Square Enix and BioWare. Those two have been brilliant at telling stories and writing. And honestly, I mean, you think about. I asked you the other day. Give me one example of like what is the first thing you think of Halo that makes you play it? Like first 2 words or whatever. I think I said 1 word.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, for me, it's like, okay, Halo, Master Chief, and Cortana. Those are 2 storyline characters.
I think I dissected that question when you asked it to me, and we never got an answer.
We never did, no.
But
Call of Duty Zombies.
Marty O'Donnell.
Marty O'Donnell. That's right.
That's why I play Halo.
Okay. Marty O'Donnell is an outstanding composer for the music. It's crazy to think about BioWare in the sense that a lot of people hated Mass Effect 3's ending because there was green, red, or blue. And there were 3 real decisions and they all really ended up. I'm not spoiling this by any means, but they really all ended up getting to the same ending. Like Mass Effect 1, you had like one ending, like you were good or bad, but you stood up and it was like shining light behind you.
Paragon, Renegade, Neutral, and then the same ending.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Ben told me that he was bugged by because there's just like no differentiation.
I want to spoil it for you so much right now. I swear.
I want to spoil the shit out of it.
Is this Drexel?
Yeah.
But no. So through Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 1 was epic. You had so much control. Mass Effect 2, they were like, well, yeah, the best armor's pink. That's funny, but we're gonna give you like 5 armors rather than 800 armors. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, there are these 9 guns rather than these 800 guns, and they kept simplifying it as to.
It became less RPG and a little bit more action.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Dead Space.
BioWare had before that. I think they had only done RPGs. Everything had been your classic RPG get more loot, and eventually get to the end of the story. But Mass Effect was their first like really big story-driven cinematic experience, and I think that they learned a crap load in 1 and they changed a crap load in 2.
1 was great because you had a bunch of allies or friends that would ride around with you. 2 was awesome because Mass Effect 2, they gave you 12 different buddies. It was all about expanding your team. The point where if you didn't get through the loyalty mission, the person would die at the end. Yeah, and that I didn't know when he died on the first time I played through because I made sure I did every single little thing before getting to that point. And then I played through the second time, went and got the extra little carrier, came back, and my entire crew died because the Reapers took them, or the what is that, Harbinger.
It's fun to like replay through those games, like especially BioWare games, because they're so strong in just like decision making and like how the things that you do affects like your relationships with your team members, and then like I think Mass Effect 2 did a really good job of like just throwing those consequences at you when you screwed up. They just would not let you go. If you made a mistake, you were a terrible person.
Yeah.
It's the same with Angry Birds, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, God, that's entirely that's for next week, man. That's like crazy. Bad piggies. That changes your life.
All your birds are not. They're all disappointed if you don't kill them all. You know what I mean?
Well, you gotta kill all the birds first.
Yeah, it's brutal though.
Kill the birds first in Angry Birds because they're angry at you, right? That's the story.
Yeah, get to the pigs after you finish off the birds.
I think the next version is gonna be bird counseling to just like deal with the anger.
Yeah.
At some point you gotta move beyond the anger.
Grief counseling, anger counseling.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not even really angry about anything that makes sense.
Well,
the pigs wanted the eggs, so they stole the eggs. So now the birds had to launch themselves.
I didn't know that there was a
story.
Dude,
don't tell me you care about story and you don't even know the story behind Angry Birds. I am offended, frankly.
I've actually played through almost all of them too, and I guess I just skipped the cinematics.
Why? It's the whole point of it. Have you watched any of their little animation things they do?
This guy.
I'm just not as into.
Damn it! Let me finish Mass Effect 3, and we can get on to Angry Birds. Oh God!
I'm just trying to talk about something I've played. That's all. Go ahead.
We will get to you.
With real games. Proceed with all the real games.
The real games. The real game to Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 2, all the way to the end, was epic. They took a little bit. They focused a little more on the story and the development. Mass Effect 3. Where they turned wrong is they took a lot of your decision making away. The left side, investigation, the right side was decision. And it basically wiped the left side off of the game. And on the right side, there was like one or the other, Renegade or Paragon.
Yeah.
And it really disappointed a lot of people. The extended cut came out. They explained why you only have 1 or 2 options, but it expanded. They changed some stuff. I really, 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 really want you to finish the game.
I will eventually.
Eventually could be 5 years from now.
I'll finish it before I die. That's the only promise.
Then I'll tell you the ending before you die.
You might as well know. You'll be senile by then.
God,
you won't know.
Damn it! What did you do last weekend? You played, what was the Chivalry? Like, why couldn't you just dedicate one day to playing it all the way
wasting
through?
All this time hiking and shit. Jesus.
God. Exercise?
That's sick. Lock yourself in your room.
I have this, like...
It was raining. There you go.
I have this really, like, bad habit of just, like, picking up games and then dropping them. I just, like, keep buying games and I play them for 5 minutes and I go to the next game.
I'm sure you do that with Halo, too,
but, like,
Assassin's Creed.
It seems like the only games that can keep my attention anymore and have me play them through to the end are indie games. I just have such a hard time sitting down.
So you're saying you will not finish Halo 4?
I'll finish Halo 4.
So you're saying you won't finish Assassin's Creed?
I'll finish Assassin's Creed.
Okay, so there are 2 games that I just told you that are not indie games.
So
right, but I have a hard time doing it.
Briefly, speaking of indie games, did you have lunch with Jesse yesterday?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
We had to. It got
had to
busy.
reschedule.
Yeah.
So we have a buddy, well, soon to be your buddy, a friend of mine who plays music also, but has done soundtracks for a handful of indie games and indie publishers. So CJ's hooking up with him because CJ, have you told him about the sentence?
No, I haven't. There's a game that me and a few friends are working on. It's a 2D side-scroller indie horror puzzle game, and we call it Dissonance. And I don't want to go into crazy detail right now, but the idea is Justin You know.
By the way, I have yet to see a demo, despite being promised it several times. So I wouldn't hold your breath.
Have you been given a timeline?
We're rebuilding the physics.
Because that's the key. You need to get a release date, and then
Building the physics.
then you can hold it.
Sounds
It's
like
done
bullshit
when
to
it will be
me.
done. God damn it! I'm gonna put a date on it. This doesn't work.
Don't act like you're an artist. You're making a game.
Dissonance. Huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
I am too.
Hopefully, some of my epic guitar feedback will make it in.
Oh yeah, it will. Trust me. We've been playing with some of that for our ambiance,
Nice.
Yeah, sound is a very important piece in every game.
especially the horror genre.
Oh God, it's not.
It is.
Did I tell you about this? Did I tell you about the one level? I'm sorry, I keep going.
Are you a
back to
horror
Halo.
guy, by the way? Do you dig horror?
I can, for example, I can watch Paranormal Activity and be scared. I can't watch Saw because that's just fucked up.
Yeah.
And I can watch a giant anaconda eat somebody because that is hilarious and it won't happen to me.
Right.
So there are levels to this. I
Won't
love
happen.
Dead Space.
I think it has happened. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to go to the Amazon and be swimming around in giant lakes.
Yeah,
so
fuck the Amazon, all right, guys?
oh god, that is why I can watch certain movies.
But related to games, you don't play horror games?
No, I can play horror. Well, I mean, give me one specifically, and I'll say yes or no to it.
Amnesia.
Amnesia, I've played maybe an hour with it with a couple friends, and that was just like on his computer. I haven't bought it. I honestly, if I go on Steam, I'll play it. I'll play it all the way through. But I mean, Dead Space is really the only like horror game I think of.
Dead
Alan
Space
Wake was
isn't
epic.
Scary though.
The first one was scary. Okay, it was
Two isn't.
two. No, I didn't say two, did I? I said
Yeah.
Dead Space 1.
Oh, snap.
Dead Space 1 was scary.
Did I say two?
And it's on record too.
It's true. Everything we say
I
is
didn't say
recorded.
two.
What was the other one I just said? Alan Wake was
It's
brilliant.
not a horror game though.
No, but
It's a
it
thriller.
scares you. But it's scary in a certain way. Okay, it's a
I
horror.
just like the
Just define.
atmosphere.
Give another example other than Amnesia, because I can't really think of an Xbox game or a PC game that I've gone on that is not an indie game.
That is not.
That is not an indie game.
This is gonna be difficult.
Yeah,
Silent Hill 2, specifically.
it was like PlayStation 1 or 2.
PlayStation 2.
Okay, no, because
Are
at
you
that
kidding
point
me?
I was Crazy Taxi is what I remember
You
from
haven't
PlayStation
played
2.
good horror
That
games.
was Crazy Taxi was bitching. Can we take a moment to appreciate that?
Yes, Crazy Taxi, brilliant.
we
They
had this-
relaunched it on
Crazy
360.
We had this
actually.
restaurant that has since moved on and become something terrible.
Which one?
Slates. Back
Oh.
in the day when it was like back behind Walmart, the atmosphere of the place was cool, the food sucked. It was pretty lame, but they had Crazy Taxi arcade in there, and I would play that thing in pool like all day long. That was my hangout.
They relaunched
That was
it
fun.
for 360 this past month.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to see
Did
them
they
like
revamp the graphics?
well, they reskinned it, but like how can you polish off the square face
Two
and make it round?
polygons.
I guess like pretty much. They improve on perfection. But
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
going back to mobile gaming, there haven't been a lot of things that have been really released recently. I mean, other than, if you know of anything specific, Justin, go for it, because I'm really trying to think, because there haven't been that many things that have been released.
Let me tell you what I've downloaded recently.
Yes, please. Enlighten us.
I'm not going to tell you all of them. One
Clear your
is a
cache.
new Java client called Thumbit. Instant Opinions, Real People. This app is designed for... I'm not going to say who it's designed for. The point is...
Please, be more discreet.
People upload images, and you either thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral, or you can leave a comment. So, here's an example. By the way, this word is Phuket, but it looks like fuck it. It's Phuket, but it's a city in Thailand. Phuket. I'll go, will you? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, why does this person care if I'm going to Phuket? Let's say thumbs down. I'm not going to Phuket with them. I like Phuket, but I'm not going with them.
You don't like them.
I would love to visit Machu Picchu. It's beautiful, right? This is like, I mean, it should be called WPF or WTF if you go for the more conventional option. So that's one I've downloaded. It's a client of ours.
I think that if I look through my app library right now, I can see why I'm switching to a Windows phone. Because, like, I haven't organized everything in folders, so everything is organized.
How is a
when
Windows
I've
phone going to
downloaded.
help with that?
Wait. Everything
Wait,
is organized.
hold on.
since
There's madness.
in orders
Prove
of,
it.
like, when I first downloaded it.
Okay.
So, if we go through, I see Galaxy on Fire, Minecraft, Game Dev Stories, Scribblenauts, Dungeon Defenders, Angry Birds, Sonic, Infinity Blade 1, Infinity Blade 2, No Zombies Allowed, and then it goes to Evernote, Asana.
We get it.
Yeah, I have a work
Email
folder for all
clients.
those. Eternity Warriors.
The only
2
apps I
speed.
download anymore are productivity apps.
Yeah.
I am changing to a Windows phone.
You think Windows Phone's gonna be more game centric?
No, I think it's not going to be more games.
Well, I mean, they do the
exactly why
Xbox
I'm going
integration.
for it.
There's
No, I'm not saying that.
Confused.
I'm not saying that there's no more games coming out for the iPhone. I'm saying that I don't download games on the iPhone anymore. I download productivity apps now.
So why switch to Windows Phone? What's the advantage
Well,
of
now
Windows Phone?
if I don't play games on my iPhone, I have no reason to have an iPhone anymore. That was the only reason I had my iPhone.
And what's the advantage of Windows Phone over iPhone for productivity?
so what is actually making you make?
Why would you make the change?
Yeah.
Because I am a Microsoft fanboy.
Okay.
You can't.
There we go. So you're anti-iPhone. Okay.
Are you a Nintendo fanboy or a Microsoft fanboy?
I get it.
Oh,
You
well,
choose one.
no, compared between
Choose
Apple.
one.
I'm gonna die here if I have to choose between the two.
That's right. Yeah, mobile gaming's been very interesting recently because they haven't been. I mean, Chair has been developing all the really crazy graphical ones, and I mean, relative to that, there's Bad Piggies has come out. That's been crazy. Modern Combat 3 came out. They're releasing the 4th one soon. But it's kind of been really slow for the iPhone just because of the iOS development. iOS 6 kind of jacked everything up, as you stated earlier in the podcast.
Can't play No Zombies Allowed with the beta anymore.
That was the beta of iOS 6, though.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I have full iOS 6, I'm good to go.
All right.
Why do you think iOS 6 fucked everything up?
I think that it's okay. First off, iOS 3. Wait, what was I'm trying to think. What iOS version gave everyone the App Store?
I don't know.
Because that was iOS 4.
A while ago.
Like
At
3
least
or
4.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
So let's assume it was 4. 4 changed everything. Because remember that stupid first game where you could like bounce water to like different like drums and make you like get the water to a certain place? That changed everything. They came out with the second one. Nobody bought it. iOS 5.
Yeah, but that's
came
the
out.
nature of game development anyway. That's not a platform issue.
No, what I'm saying,
I don't-
I'm kind of slapping that game developer and also moving on at the same
Oh, okay,
time.
gotcha.
But I don't even
now
think-
to explain.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I just don't think that iOS 6 even really changes the way you develop games on the phone. It's still the same operating system. It's just got a few new features, right?
Right.
And,
Okay. Well, for example, as I am not a game developer, I'll give you an example to how I personally think that has failed a lot of people. Number one, we all know map sucks. We can get past that.
Great.
Okay, because I'm not going to go on and on about how people fall off cliffs and
By the
stupid
way,
memes.
real quick on that comment,
Please.
have you seen the SNL where they bring in the Chinese folks who manufactured the iPhone?
No, I have not.
I'll cue it up while you talk.
oh,
Keep
please
going.
do.
But iOS 6 just hasn't changed anything for me. I mean, like, when you have a really big iOS update, it's supposed to just blow people away. You know, iOS 4, epic. iOS 5, it changed a lot of things for it. You know, this whole swipe down, you know, that thing actually, like, is something I'll do when something's loading on Netflix, and then, you know, it gets people, it distracts people a little bit longer, I guess, would be the best part of iOS 5. But iOS 6, what did they really change? Sort of maps. I mean, like, yeah, you can see, like, oh, look, there's 3D, but again, that's maps. Like, what have they actually changed? I mean, you've been someone who's used iOS 6. Give me an example.
Wait, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But I just realized what the symbol on your shirt is.
What is it?
I don't want to say it.
Why not? Come on.
I don't want to be associated with that show.
Oh, come on, man. Really? That's terrible. But I'm glad that you know that this is the Fire Nation. I'm glad for that.
I do. Sorry, please rehash the question. For
Rehash the
audience.
question. I cannot remember the
What
question.
are the features
what is
introduced on iOS 6?
Yeah, what does iOS 6 change for the average American me who has an iPhone?
It's
and
not
has
impressive.
upgraded?
It's not overwhelming.
I don't even know because I haven't upgraded yet.
I have.
Now I'm mad at you because you have not upgraded and have not shared my
But
map
I like.
stores it.
I have Google Maps here. I'm good. I don't need more maps.
It's not overwhelming, but it's an incremental step. I mean, the thing is,
A
I
step
think
towards
Apple,
what?
just an incremental step, just changes. Apple Maps is a bad move, agreed.
Didn't
But they're
they,
working on
didn't
it.
they
I-
upgrade Siri too? A little bit. Didn't they?
I don't
so.
care
I
about
haven't used
Siri.
Siri in a while because my headphones died.
Oh,
So-
mine too.
The kittens we had ate through them. So.
I put mine in the wash machine. a week
Every
ago.
single Apple headphones I've had, one side has died within the past, like, 8 sets I've had in the past 3
And it
months.
sucks because it's like $40 to buy a new one.
And now I don't have Apple headsets.
I think Apple is held to a different standard. I think it's their own fault, but I think they're held to a different standard because they make such a big deal about how badass they are.
Mhm.
Well,
So,
Yeah. Please, Saturday Night Live. Let's
right.
focus on iOS 6 maps. All sound. There's an example of America. You know what? That's it pointed fun at a lot of specific issues that all of us have. But I don't care. I love my iPhone 4. I don't have a 4S. I don't have a 5. I'm happy with it. When I get my upgrade, I'm probably gonna go to an Android or a Windows 8.
You are?
Why?
That's just because they haven't wowed me. It's not like, cause yeah, I've been an Apple fanboy for a while. I mean, I converted my entire family. I've been trying to convert my, it sounds like a religion, but I'm trying to convert everyone around me to Apple. And once I noticed their GPUs were kind of sucking, and I was like, oh well, I mean, the iOS is still awesome, and I went with the HTC 3D, and yeah, it was great. And then it shattered 5 times, so I had to switch back to the iPhone.
That's like the big thing with me too. I know I say I'm switching because of a Microsoft fanboy, but I'm just so tired of the latest Apple device being slightly different than the last one. And I like how Microsoft is just going in all these crazy directions with Microsoft Surface and this whole second screen concept between the Xbox and Windows 8.
Yeah, you like second screens.
Second screen is cool.
No, it's not.
Yeah, dude, it's like
there's one screen, now there's 2. It's like it's just.
Dude, 2 is better than 1.
Specifically, I think the reason I'm going to switch to a Windows 8 phone would be for the Xbox integration. If they fix the Zune thing, Xbox Music, I don't really think I'm going to jump to that either. Because the thing, I'll be honest with my phone, I love having iTunes on it. Always having music is something that I love to do, but
I hate iTunes.
Please explain why you hate iTunes.
Okay, first of all, I can't put music on my phone from any other computer but the first freaking computer that I did it on. Otherwise, I have to assign that computer to my Apple profile. I can only have so many computers, so I'm all economical about what computer I have.
You can only have 5 computers that are authorized. You mean, or
yeah, and I'm a guy who goes through.
Most people don't have more than 5 computers, so just throwing that out there.
I'm not most people. None of us in here are
That's
most
true.
people.
I've run into this issue.
I've
many
spent
times.
thousands and thousands of dollars on computer hardware in my days, and I switch operating systems all the time. It's just not convenient to be limited by how many computers I can authorize my device on. It's because I have already authorized 3 different ones, and I'm going to be switching my computers again very shortly from now. It's just not good for me. And then also, every time, I don't know why, but every time I upload a song to iTunes, it duplicates it. It duplicates it. I don't even know why.
I have not downloaded music on iTunes for a while. I've been using Rhapsody, which is any song in the world that you want. Say, Lady Gaga comes out with a song, Lady Gaga. 2 weeks later, it's on Rhapsody. My life is not going to change waiting 2 weeks. But then, for example, there's been other music that I've listened to on YouTube, and that's epic. I want to put it on my phone, and I'll do that rather than go through iTunes.
I don't think I have ever paid for digital music. I've never, except for the humble indie music bundle. I did buy digital music then, but what I like to do is if my favorite artist comes out with a new album, I buy vinyl, and it comes with the digital versions of all the songs, and you also get the cool vinyl playing the record player, because everybody has a record player now, right?
Everybody, right? I have one in my house.
But, yeah, I'm just, if I'm going to get music, I'm going to get a CD, and I'm going to rip it. I don't want to spend $20 on a new album when I can go to a pawn shop, buy a bunch of CDs, and actually, all the music I like isn't even new. All the music I like has already been made, and all the artists are dead these days. But
I listen to a song so many times that it's drilled into my mind, and I hate it the next week. So, kind of the classic American. But we should probably wrap this up.
What's on the list these days?
On the list of what we've done?
No, what's left.
What's left? Really?
We'll just pick an interesting topic.
Okay, interesting topic. We've been over Borderlands. We've been over Halo 4 many times, different Halo things. Been over Mass Effect. We've Forward Unto Dawn. There we go. Last thing. Once again, Halo. Forward Unto Dawn. Have you watched 4? You've only watched 3, right?
Yeah, I'm actually finishing 3 right now.
Okay.
I'm halfway through it.
well, if you've watched any of the trailers, Master Chief is actually in it. He is in Part 4. It's very interesting because they basically took a guy. He's walking down the hall, and you just hear like clomb, clomb, clomb. His actual steps that are metal on cement. It's really cool to hear that echoing in your ears. They've pulled the story together very, very well.
Who's the voice actor for Chief in this?
The actor who's actually in the suit, which I find very interesting. The guy's like 6'8".
He's not the DJ guy who's always been voicing Master Chief.
No, it's someone totally different,
Oh.
which pissed me off. This is not Master Chief's voice.
Does he do a good job of sounding like Master Chief?
He sounds like a younger Master Chief, and this is like 25 years.
Yeah, he should be a little bit different.
So that does make sense. But that's something that I think I should not spoil too much since you're about to watch Part 4.
Yeah.
But one last thing we can say is I am very, very sad to say that G4 is closing Attack of the Show and X-Play.
The only reason I watched G4 was for X-Play and Attack of the Show.
Yeah, I was reading the comments, and it was, what else? Without those two shows, what is on G4?
I don't know what I'm going to do without Adam Sessler anymore. He runs my life, and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Well,
I feel like every time I listen to Adam Sessler say words, I just like eat that shit up. I'm like, yes, I agree. That's exactly what I'm
Destroy
thinking.
America. Yes, that makes sense.
Reading my thoughts.
Oh my god. No, but I'm excited for next week. Hopefully we can have another podcast up by Friday, I hope. Anyway, this podcast has been fun.
I think all the audience really wants to see is me kick your ass on Super Smash Bros.
I think that's something that may or may not happen in the next 2 minutes.
Play Smash Bros.
Now what you do is you stop the video camera. Unless you want to record us kicking my ass on a video.
Yeah,